Quick introduction, I'm Mark, owner here at 915 Sports. So my background is strength and conditioning for over the last 10 years, but I was really excited to add Frank onto the staff because of his experience, because of his passion for endurance and running. So he asked if we wanted to start any kind of run team and start training for a marathon, and I was like, I don't want to start training for a marathon, but I know there's a lot of people who really would like that. So, and we kind of tested it out for a couple of we didn't get to run the 10K.
Yeah, because they postponed it. Yeah,
because they postponed it because weather and such So anyway, but we're really excited to have Frank. So Frank's going to be your lead. Frank's an awesome guy, as you guys know. But he's also very knowledgeable and has been doing this for a long time. Trains himself, and he's actually into the Boston Marathon this year. You're going to run it, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And then he has a couple of sons who are phenoms in distance running. So anyway, I'll let Frank quickly introduce herself, and then we'll go kind of right into what he ever has to say.
Alrighty. Okay. All right. Well, just real quick, I'm Frank. I've seen a couple of you. Quick background, I coach club, track cross country. I've been coaching it for a while. We have a pretty big size group here on the east side. We do some of that. I've been doing a lot personally, looking at probably the last 5 or 6 years. Really is why I joined CrossFit was to help me with my running and looking at trying to be a complete athlete, you know, and really a big believer you really need every component of strength and conditioning to be a good athlete in any sport you do. I mean, if you look at the highest level people in football, basketball, any sport, they go through a multitude of training. They don't just focus on one specific type of training. So I've noticed it even in my, I'm gonna say later years, a lot of improvement just by going through the weightlifting. I've taken the powerlifting classes of just trying to experiment and really see how you can marry different sports in one. A lot of people think, well, if I'm gonna run, then I can't, I shouldn't lift weights. Well, you're actually more prone to injury doing that. Vice versa, you know, if I'm gonna lift weights, I can't run. Well, endurance is the most basic level of any type of athletic training. You know, you got to have endurance to do anything. So there's always that balance. Like anything, it depends on how competitive, you know, how long a distance you want to go to. At some point, things have to tilt. Just like if you want to be a competitive CrossFitter, at some point you got to dive all in and be going through the competitive level training and so forth. So really, that's kind of what over the years we looked at, and I want to say it's been kind of shown with our club kids that it's more about quality versus quantity of work effort. You can do a lot with doing a little, if that makes sense. You know, the mentality of just I got to run miles and miles and miles at the same pace every day it'll yield some results, but it won't yield as good a result as if you vary the type of training and start really building your muscles and your biomechanics, you know, differently. Speed work is a lot that we do, but the key is really just looking at you know, the goal is not to beat you down, it's to make you stronger, right? So I'll give you an example. We have a workout with 200 meters. You know, you can't go all out speed every 200, you know, so we control the speed, and more importantly, you control the recovery. So you're working in that, so you're still gonna be about 30 to 40 minutes of work per se, but you're training at a faster speed than you're gonna be racing at, and you're learning how to work tired and force your body to move when you're tired, you know. So those things, and like I'll say we had a big group that just entered high school this year from our club team, and they did really good. I mean, a lot of them were key components on their varsity team as freshmen, you know, and they're surprised that they hadn't run more than.
He's real modest about that, but he took 5 guys?
No.
How many did you take?
To this week, Nationals?
Yeah, to Nationals?
Yeah, 9.
9, and how many made All-American?
5. Four made All-American, yeah.
4 made All-American.
So it's just top 25 in the nation,
9
yeah.
guys, that's top 25 in the nation.
And so our group, yeah, from our high school kids, they went in, they hadn't run more than 5 miles ever, you know. And a lot of the kids growing up in these programs, they'll run quite a bit. Our younger ones, because we have kids from like 5 years old, 2-3 miles a pop, you know. But it's just doing that. We do a lot of that quality work, so they don't really feel it. And they're in the long run, you know, it's more injury prevention. You know, if you're doing something bad and you keep doing it, you're just gonna make it worse. But like I said, going back to the sprinting and stuff, you learn how to move your body a little quicker, better, and you can stay more focused into the training. So.
Yeah, and so to reiterate that, the methodology works. I mean, it's been practiced and through his. And so what we want you to think about is as he goes through the training is don't think you have to do anything extra, right? Don't think because so-and-so is doing it or because a friend of mine is doing, they're putting in 50 miles a week or whatever it is, don't think that that's the case, okay? So that's kind of one of the biggest things when you're training for something and you have somebody who's leading the program is to always kind of take those questions back to your coach when you're working through the training to make sure if you have any of those specific questions that you'll be able to ask them that. Now, the program that we're doing, and I guess I should also say, I preface this, I was a track and field guy in college. Didn't run distance, I was more of a sprinter, I was a hurdler, but I had an All-American, collegiate All-American best friend, and we used to talk a lot of like, and his whole thing was quality and speed rather than mileage. So that's kind of the old way of thinking, and still a lot of coaches still coach that, but just make sure that you understand that there's a goal at the end, and we're programming towards that goal, whether it be a half, whether it be a full, whether it be a 5K. This meaning specifically for the half, maybe for the full for you. But know that the idea is to try to keep your body from breaking down as much from the mileage.
Yeah.
Right? So we're all not collegiate runners, so you know, some of us are older than others, but we definitely want to make sure that that's the case through the most of our training. So the way the program is going to be delivered, it's going to be really easy to do that. So what we're going to do is, I'll quickly talk about that.
Yeah,
Frank,
go ahead.
Is we want to make sure that no matter where you're at, you're able to get the program. So some of you guys are here, members at the gym, other of you are not, but that program is going to be delivered through an app. Okay, that app, you'll always be able to have it. You'll see so many days as whatever Frank wants you to see in front. For those of you guys who are in my stuff, it's Train Heroic. Same thing, okay? So you'll be able to see the app. You'll be able to ask questions even through the app. Okay, there's a feed where you can ask questions, and chances are your question is probably what might other people think, so don't be afraid to answer that. That notification will go to Frank, we'll go to me, and that'll let us respond as to hopefully answer in time if you have any questions, but make sure you look at that. But we're downloading Train Heroic. Once you guys sign up, there'll be a link to go ahead and download that app. You can download it now, it doesn't matter, it's Train Heroic. And then once you guys sign up for the program, we'll put you into the team. Does that make sense on how that works? And in that team, you can see where everybody's results are, whatever Frank wants you to see and not see. So if you have people, and you guys know how it works, right? Like you can see where everybody's at, so you can kind of pace yourself off if you have a friend or somebody you know who's similar to your pace, and kind of see where that's at, if there's like a mile test or something like that. But I know Frank mainly does a lot of pace workouts, and he'll probably talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But you'll get some resources from us. Once you sign into the system, you'll have a username and password. It's all legit. So you'll go in, I'm recording this, so you'll be able to see past meetings if you miss them, okay? And hopefully maybe want to even try to record the coaching, in case you can't come to the live coaching sessions, that you'll be able to at least learn from watching watching Frank coach somebody else. So we're really trying to do a lot here, and this is our first real
Run at it?
Run at this system. We've tried it without the system, so and we know the system, but this is our first kind of legit getting everybody together and producing it through a lot of these videos and things of that nature. So we're really excited about it. That's why we're looking forward to it. But we'll play with how that works and if those videos are even worth watching.
Yeah.
You guys give us feedback on that. But the program is still solid. It's not the first time he's programmed before for running. So don't think that it's the first time we're doing this as a package. Does that make sense? So, but you'll be able to sign up through a link, and that's Run run.915sports.com. Really easy. Run.915sports.com. You'll sign up through that link. Training for the half starts on Monday. Okay, it's $29. All right, it's not per month. It's for the entire training session. Okay, so fantastic price when it comes, and that includes the meetups. Frank's training once a month, or a couple times. He's going to figure out how many times he wants to do that. But when you come here, he'll have a training session. When you come here, watch you run, make sure your mechanics are good. That way, you know, if there's anything going on with the movement, he can address it in person. So it's a kind of a mixture between the online. But yeah. I'll let Frank finish, if you have, and then we'll open it up for questions, because I think that's why we're here today.
Sure.
Is answer any questions you guys have.
Yeah, so really, real quick, all three are structured, all three, the 5K, half marathon, marathon, are structured very similar. It's just obviously for different distances, so it's a little more focused on other components than others. But they kind of have the same principles. Each one's going to have 3 levels. The first level is pretty much your beginner, so most of it's just time-based, you know, running for 20 minutes, running for 30 minutes, not necessarily mileage-based, and that's kind of controlling your pace. The level 2 would be more of an intermediate type. If you have some basic fitness level, let's just say you've been just going to the gym and you want to jump into that, you'd probably be able to jump into a intermediate right away. And then the level 3 is a little bit more advanced, so it gets to be a little more volume within the program. A lot of it's mile test based, so the biggest thing will be, and we'll try to do a day where we'll call out at the beginning as, you know, test your mile, to run an actual true mile. And I can I'll give a mark. We have an area that we have marked out here that you can just do it from the gym. That's kind of your basis for all your programming, because I'll do everything will be based off say your 5K pace, 10K pace, tempo pace. So I'll have those. We'll have the pacing charts up. So based off your mile, you can kind of tell where you should be at. Now that doesn't mean that you know, I have to hit that number, you have to hit that number, but it gives you a gauge of where you should be at, you know. And that kind of right there helps control, because sometimes you're going to do, I'm going to say 200s at a 10K, you're going to say, wow, that's kind of, that first 200's pretty easy, I need to go faster and faster. But again, if you're doing 16 of them, you know, you got to be able to do it so you can get through the workout. And consistently, if you do 8, you know, at breakneck speed, but the last 8 you're just shuffling, you're not really getting the intent of the workout. So that kind of helps place you where you should be. And then more importantly, it sets you up for your weekend runs, your long runs at a recovery pace. And that was the hardest thing, I think, especially for those doing CrossFit. You're used to the 3, 2, 1 go, and it's like get to the end as fast as you can. And we were working with some of the FemFit girls, which a lot of them did some of the programming over the last year. That was the hardest thing for them to adjust to, was they felt like they were running too slow. But that's part of the process, you know. And so that kind of tells you, you know, hey, I ran a 7-minute mile, so I should be at 8:30 my long runs. And you know, if you're running them at 7:30, you're probably going to get to a point somewhere in that program where you're going to start fizzling out, or start, you know, with shin splints or aches and pains. So that's kind of a guide to help kind of pull you back, or just, you know, learn to take it a little bit easier, and then you'll see the reward on the back end of it. Week program, and that's going to be more interval intensive. So it's going to be a lot more just almost primarily interval running, very little steady running. We will go a little bit longer on the weekends, you know, but I think the advanced goes up to like 6 is the most they'll do, and then I want to say for the half we'll go up to about 10. I think we'll hit 10, 10, maybe 11, and then yeah, for the full we've got to get up to like in the 20s and the high teens. I mean, at some point, you know, it is what it is. That's the race, you know. So I guess.
What did you say with the half? You'll be where at the end?
At the max out with probably like the level 3, it's like 10, 11. That's probably the max for the half.
For the beginners?
It's minute based, so it'd probably be like about 90 minutes of running.
Okay.
So it almost ends up to where, like, so we've been able to get. So we'll do, as we get going, we'll announce like maybe group runs, or, you know, people can meet different times, different places. So we'll have a forum where people can just, you know, hey, I plan on running 8 o'clock on Saturday over here, who can meet, and then You know, because we've had in the past groups meet in the west side, groups meet on the east side, and I know schedules are hard to get everybody in one place at the same time. But I mean, the intent is to try to not have to do it by yourself. You know, it kind of helps with some structure, and so almost all levels, though, like if you're in the same race, all levels will start and finish about the same time. So that's kind of like, so we've had like level 3 people with level 1 people, but when you take the minutes and the miles they run, more or less, they kind of leave and come back at the same time. So it's kind of a good thing because you don't feel like, if you're just starting out, you don't feel like, oh man, you know, ready to go and you're just by yourself. You kind of start and finish together, and that kind of helps with some of the team building. I'll give you an example. The first one we did, we had one of the girls, we did the mile test out here, and she had never completed a full mile without stopping, but she did it this time. And she was almost at, I want to say close to 12 minutes. And about 4 weeks into it, we did it again, and she was under 10 minutes, you know, so, and just going through whatever she could go through, you know, so like I said, luckily we haven't really had any injuries, so that's a good thing, but I mean, that's part of the game, like in any sport, so I guess really with that, I mean, I guess we can open up to any questions or yeah, okay, so I guess with that, we can just open up to any questions, if anybody has questions or... It'll be all week. So the way I look at it from the perspective is you know, you're here at the gym because you like the gym. You want to be at the gym and you don't want to give up the gym to do the work, right? And that's kind of how I've been doing it too. So really it's more of it's set up, it's a weekly program. Depending on the level you're at, you know, it could be like for the level 3 marathon, it's like 5 days a week. For the level 1 half marathon, it's like 3 to 4 days a week. Most of the workouts, a lot of them are recovery runs. You could get them right after the WOD and just do like 20 minutes of jogging outside.
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to make sure that a lot of people who may do this may not be doing the gym, like
right.
a normal gym, and may not be doing a program like CrossFit or a program like FemFit or a program like our Buns Against program or whatever it is, right? So how does somebody who's not currently doing any kind of resistance training or somewhat of conditioning, is the program still suffice for the run?
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah, it definitely will, and all you'll have to do is you can look at it and increase the level at that point. Okay. You know what I mean? So if you want to get more out of the running.
One, and you feel like there's not enough volume, you hit to a level 2, possibly even a level 3, depending on your base or where you're
base
at.
conditioning. Yeah, exactly. So you'll still be able to get it in if you're at the gym, and then if you don't go to the gym, you'll still be able to get in that same.
So what would you consider somebody who's going to the gym often, or somebody who's supplementing this conditioning with their own type of conditioning?
Yeah. So I think what level?
Like So basically, what I'm asking, I guess, and this is just preeminent, trying to like filter questions before they come up, is okay. So here we have a CrossFit class, right? Or we have a FemFit class, and so there is conditioning involved in that, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not doing CrossFit or FemFit or some sort of other conditioning, what constitutes, like, you know, somebody who hears CrossFit and FemFit have no idea what we're doing, right? So, what constitutes conditioned athlete? What would they be doing when they work out? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, like what level workout they'd hit?
Yeah, no, what would they be doing? Like, so in my opinion, you're doing some resistance training, and then you're doing some sort of like cardio session.
Yeah, so we can supplement that with some type of I want to say, like if you're not a gym member or going to a gym, maybe some type of body weight, home exercises to help supplement that conditioning. That's what you're getting at? Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not. Well, not necessarily. What are we going to try at them? Because mainly our program is run program. Yeah. Right? It's endurance, it's straight learning how to run and doing. But what I'm asking is, I guess, if they're going to the gym themselves, and they were like, oh, I don't know if I should level up or level down. Like right now, I'm not doing anything. Right now, I'm just doing weight training. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I guess maybe I'll answer that question myself. Since, but so basically, if what we do is basically some strength training and conditioning, right? So if you're at a normal gym, you'd be doing like 30 minutes of like some sort of conditioning, steady state stuff, and doing some strength training. If you want to do that on your own, it's still okay.
Yeah.
Right? It's still okay, but if you feel like that and the running program is not enough, then all you want to do is mainly just endurance and running, then level up.
Level up.
So that's the idea, right?
Yeah.
Because our members kind of understand when you say CrossFit, they're like, oh, okay, I know what it is. But if somebody who's never done CrossFit, like, okay, well, how much conditioning is that? And that's basically in kind to doing 30 minutes of cardio and then doing about 30 minutes to 45 minutes of strength training.
Yeah.
So if they want to supplement with that, they still can.
Yeah, correct.
During this training,
Yeah.
and you allow for that. But if you're not, and you feel like you just want more volume, you feel like you can handle it, maybe ask
Level
you,
up, yeah.
or level up to the next level. And you're talking about level 3 is somebody who's been super consistent, been running for a long time, or is a very conditioned athlete.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, someone who could take running 5 times a week. That's it.
5 times a week for good pace.
For a good, exactly. So.
Did that kind of clarify some things maybe for you? Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the idea. So and as it gets closer, I think Frank will start to advise on when to start slowing the supplemental training down a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, if you're doing weights or if you're doing CrossFit, you're doing FemFit, Frank will start to say, okay, let's start to take that to 2 days a week, 1 day a week, and then finally, let's just work and kind of peak for the race.
Right.
Because that's the whole idea here, is to get you to do something that you didn't think you could do, right? And training on your own. Is now you have a coach, and now there's somebody to give you exact feedback on where you should be, and hopefully prepping, feedback, all that stuff on what to do and how to prep for, and somebody you can go and ask questions to. And that's our whole goal, is to kind of make this a little bit competitive with yourself, right? Not let's just go out and run. Let's see how well we can do when we run, and that's on any level, right? So, anyway, any other questions? Yes.
What is the $30 going to cover?
$30.
The coaching, and then we gotta pay for the race, or?
Oh yeah. So we don't own the marathon, right? So I wish I could say that includes your ticket, but you have to pay for the race, right? So I suggest if you haven't signed up already, do it, because that just lights a fire under your ass and says, oh, it's coming, like I can't back out because I paid for it. So I suggest doing it early, and then
I think the next price hike is the end of the year.
Okay.
So
there it is.
So that'd
try
be
to
good,
do it before
December
the end of the year,
31st.
or else the price goes up. And then second of all, the $30, to make it more specific, which is $29, is it covers all the programming, right? The in-person coaching and the membership access to all of the running,
I'm gonna say clinics or workshops.
well, workshops and like filmed workshops, as well as some resources that Frank has put down for you guys. And then finally, the meetups on Saturdays when you guys meet up. So, and that's just a one-time thing. So that's pretty awesome.
Normally the meetups are going to be here. Is that something?
We can pick locations. I mean, the first few times we did meet up here just because everybody was kind of familiar with the place, and after that, I mean, we've done it at different places. Album, we've done it out in the desert a few times. That's a good place probably to start, where we go with the kids. I mean, that's a good, nice flat running.
Equipment, I mean, I guess in regards to shoes. I mean, that's kind of a thing that I'm kind of struggling with right now, because I don't normally run. I run a 5K.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, me too. That's
So you want
I
shoes?
can probably do it in Chuck Taylor's, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So his question was equipment and shoes. And
Yeah.
gear, right?
So really the biggest thing, obviously, is the shoes. You want to get something with a good. I'm not too preferential to the foam shoes or the real flexible, like the Freeze and the ones that you can kind of just bend. I think you need a good, solid, stiff shoe. Best place to go, I would think, would be the Up and Running, the one that's here on George Theater.
They can give
they
you
can fit
advice
you. They
on
can
your
see how they have the
gait,
treadmill
all that
there,
stuff, yeah.
and they can advise on those shoes. As far as what type, what brand, people have preferences to all different kinds. I mean, you have
What do you
I've Nike. I wore Nike Pegasus. I like those. But I've worn Brooks. I've worn. I mean, I switch it up too, just to.
You don't wear Vans.
Nah, you don't wear Vans, yeah, yeah. You know, and you know, like you got to get something with the good arch supports, man. Especially for the longer runs, you need that comfort. Even if it feels a little bulky, you can always shoe down for a race. You know, but for training, you want to be able to have that comfort. Myself, what I'll do is I'll buy I have them on right now too, like some inserts. That you can buy like at Walmart or like heel inserts or arch inserts. You just throw them in and they're like $10 and you can slide them in your shoes and that helps a lot. But up and running would probably be your best bet. I think they kind of see.
And nutrition, that'll be part of the progress, or is that something you guys are going to touch on, or is that?
That's been a little bit of a back and forth for me because nutrition's so different for a lot of people. Some people are a little closer to the weight. And need a little bit more performance-based nutrition. Other people if you just lose weight, it's going to help you because you're carrying less, right? And nutrition is one of those things that we take so kind of like seriously because there's so many different little nuances of individuals, and especially when you're training for a race. I mean, I think what I could try to do is give you kind of a general nutrition guidance. So for performance, when you're talking about a race, it's so different for so many people. But for a general like nutrition, what's healthy, maybe I can include that in like
some do's and don'ts
presentation that I can put online and you can listen to, and do's and don'ts of just general nutrition.
A lot of it, on my question also, is kind of like before, during, and after the run, or even the marathon.
Oh yeah.
I think that's kind of where my thing is. I've never really ran more than.
Yeah, so my thing is you may have to experiment on it because usually it's like it's really what you can digest and process easily, and everybody has different preferences.
The worst thing you can do is change up drastically what you've been doing the day before. And people, I don't know, they go out and eat 5 pounds of spaghetti, and you know what I mean? Like, just because they hear carb up, whatever. But I mean, the worst, and I've been coaching athletes for so long and different types of athletes, and I was like, dude, don't listen to your buddy who's telling you to do this. Like, make sure your body has to be used to it. Your body has performed all the way up to there, right? And you know how your body's going to react, but you never know how your body's going to react if you do something drastically different the day before just because some yo-yo told you to do it or some magazine. So that's the biggest thing for performance, and I know Frank's with me, right, on this. Is don't change it up, you know what I mean? I don't know, don't change up gear last second. And especially for a race that lasts hours, you know what I mean? Like, it can super affect you. So
as far as during that, again, too, that's a lot of people go with the gels, you know, like the goos and stuff like that. I would say those are perfect to try out during the training process as you're going on your long runs. Even if you feel like you don't need it, just to do it, because some of them, I made the mistake of doing it without ever trying it one time, and I was gagging in the middle of things. Because I didn't realize you have to drink water with it. So I was like, and then it was like coffee flavored. I was like, oh, I love coffee, but
do it. Try it out before, because on race day, you never know how your body's your stomach could just absolutely not like it. The brand, the type, everything.
The type.
There's gummies, there's goos, there's drinks, there's all kinds of different things.
And the longer the race, the more all that's magnified. So you want to take out as many variables as you can, so that way you're not thinking about anything. And as you do it, that's part of the training process. Is as you're doing it, you're testing out and seeing what you like, what you don't like. If you feel different, if you don't. I kind of reverted to taking like a starch that I've been taking the last couple of marathons, and it's helped me a lot. But I think
I do that too.
And it helps
when I'm competing in any kind of endurance or a couple of day long thing. But he'll recommend that. But again, I've done it before. I know what it is. I don't feel heavy because if you take too much, you can feel heavy. It just again, so that's real tricky. But hopefully that answers your question on nutrition day of, before, and after.
After while you're training. Before you're training, after is you gotta replenish what you lost pretty much. You gotta, like a lot of it's like usually a 4-to-1 carb to protein ratio. you gotta take that in. After the race,
It's all up
should
to
be
you,
fair
man.
game, man.
Yeah.
At that point, right?
And then sodium is another thing.
Sodium,
Is you want to make sure, and you're going to have a lot more sodium than maybe some of you are used to, in terms of like trying to cut back on sodium. So,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
need that.
don't
Sodium's
just go
not
eat
bad.
chips all the time. I mean, it's okay to salt your food and that kind of thing because you'll be exerting a lot more. It is different when you're a performance diet than a what do you call it? Just know that your sodium is okay, and if you're hungry, it's okay to eat because if you're doing a lot of more general exercise, you're going to end up being hungry, and that's okay because you want to feed the engine. Just, and I'll give you some guidelines in terms of general health. Just make sure it's good food.
Wow, one more.
Yes.
So like if I'm training for the half marathon, but then I want to jump into the marathon, do I have to pen out 30 or?
Oh no.
If you're training
It'd be
for
the same
half,
program, but it probably wouldn't be advisable. Like within the same.
so I know where he's going with this,
Yeah.
right? He has a bet with his buddy who is running the marathon with no training whatsoever, right? And you know about this.
Yeah.
But, so he kind of finagled him
Yeah.
into doing it with him.
Get
But-
with me. We could see about where you're
I
at.
want to just see where I'm at. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good at running, but I've never ran a marathon. I've run 10 milers.
Yeah.
I mean, half marathon would be next, and then see where I'm
Yeah.
at.
What
I mean, there's nothing wrong with like you're not gonna die, right? I mean, it's just, how would you? When you say you don't advise it, it's because of your performance.
It's just
Or-
it just becomes a miserable situation if you get out there and you're not.
So if you're okay with being miserable, like
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
it becomes-
idea,
yeah.
it might be okay.
Like-
but if
Because that's the goal, But, so then what? I just train for the marathon then and forget about the other races.
well, it's
Well-
a little late to start training for the marathon, to be honest. Like to perform well, but yeah.
I mean, I could get you. We can get you take a look at the programming and see. So, like, if you do the marathon and then let's just say, if you're training for the marathon, you'd be able to run any of the races beneath that, right? You'd be conditioned to do any of those, really. But it's a little.
thing
The
is
time
that
frame is a little
you're
compressed.
jumping into a higher volume situation, training situation. So it depends on how your body's going to react. To that.
Yeah.
So right now they're at 12 miles, right? Or
Right,
where they
like
at?
this weekend, it's like the level 3s, like a 12-mile run for their long
Level
run.
3 is at a 12-mile run. I mean, you might be able to train a level 1 marathon, maybe.
Maybe do that and start
Start
like lower and
just
then
start like a beginner
work your
type
way
of a
up
marathon, and because you don't want to put your body by the time you get to the marathon, you're going to be broken.
and
You know
hold
what I
off
mean?
hold
Does that
off
make
on
sense? 'Cause you're
registering.
just jumping into something
Yeah.
kind of running already.
Yeah, and maybe hold off on registering for the race. Give it a month, see where you're at, and at that point,
Because it's more expensive
then
for
you
the
can
marathon than it is.
then you can, and if you feel like, well, at least you're gonna be you'll be ready to do the 17th of February.
Oh, it's good. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a half.
No, they're all the
They
same.
moved it up. They moved it up this year, right? It was.
It's all the same. It's usually the end of February,
Right.
but yeah.
They moved it up a little bit earlier on us. So that's why we had to hurry
Yeah.
up. We thought we had time.
We have a platform as far as where you want us to kind of be per week. Right?
Oh yeah. I've already programmed it out, leading to the race day for each one. So I have all those ready to go, and I'm gonna start plugging them in here pretty soon. I already have the marathon ones going, but I'll start plugging in the half for next week, starting next week.
And do we train? Are we going to train with the ones that are already doing the marathon? Is it kind of like a full scope of all the runners that you?
So it may be like on those long the group, like the Saturday group gatherings. It could be anybody. It could be any of the groups, right? I mean, at that point, pretty much you can go different routes and whatever. That's not limited. During the week, it's going to be hard. Most of the time, it's going to be on your own, or wherever you can squeeze in. I'll let you know, like the 5K sessions are going to be about 30 minutes long. The half sessions are about 45 minutes long, and the marathon sessions are about an hour long, more or less throughout the week. What changes is like the build-up days on the weekends and stuff. So plateau and then taper down, so you're fresh for the.
Your weekend's kind of your peak.
Yeah, so your weekend's kind of your peak. Yeah. So. But yeah, so like I answer your question, maybe look at the level.
Different races on different.
Oh, on different days?
Oh,
Yeah, I got
no,
you.
no, it's
Oh,
all
I see what you're
one.
saying. Yeah, it's all on the same day, man. Yeah.
So same day, you just
Yeah, that's why I was
the
asking.
marathoners just keep going, you know what I mean? And the other one's turn. So that's
Okay,
have to. Yeah, you crazy guys that are gonna run the marathon. You
Yeah.
just You just keep going.
I say miserable because one time I accelerated a training for the El Paso, and I did like a quick, and I was like, nah, I was real busy, and I hit mile 15, and my legs started cramping, and it was miserable, man. I couldn't even like walk. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. So,
Yeah, but
and that's the thing is like if you're trying to do it.
We're not running 6.5, 7-minute miles, Frank, like you.
Yeah, but it's
7-minute miles the whole way.
Yeah, but yeah,
So,
it's
Huh?
Yeah, that's like
So.
yeah. So.
But this is for anybody. So if you have friends who want to join you, they're more than welcome to. Where the 5K is going to start in January, and our first meeting is the 3rd, and the kickoff is the 7th of January. 5Ks don't need as much training, but it's those people who haven't done anything in a long time. The level 1 is going to be for somebody who's just even starting. So very, very beginner on a 5K. So we encourage anybody who has friends or family or you know, you want to like get them out there and getting some exercise in, something we can help with. So anything else? No? All right, man. We're looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just, again, run.915sports.com. On all the Facebook and our Instagram, it's been posted. Well, it's probably where you saw us here. So just go and click it, sign up before Monday, because Monday starts the training, okay? If for whatever reason you sign up and you don't get an email from us within 24 hours, message us, please, okay? Again, this is our first run at it, so hopefully I don't miss anything as it comes in. So make sure you guys do that, and that's it, I think.
Yeah.
Right, Frank?
At least for now, yeah.